Okay, so welcome to the um, welcoming workshop for the fall semester. So this is one of the two that we have. So we're going to have the second one this Wednesday, and each of the session going to cover different topics. So today I'm just going to go very quickly over the administrative issues before we go to the agenda. So again, for a better experience, I would strongly suggest that you use Chrome instead of using Safari, because Chrome gonna give you a much better experience, and also you're gonna do a lot more if later on if you want to share your screen and when we want to do some experiment as well. So please try to use Google Chrome. Okay. And also, if you have any issues with checking in and listening or hearing our voices, please just try to log out and log back in. So this is, again, a common, issues that people face when we are online. And somehow, if you couldn't join us, that is fine, because the whole session is being recorded. So I will share the recording with everybody later on. Okay. And again, I just want to make sure that this whole session is going to be very interactive. So at any point of time, if you have any question, if you want to jump in and give any feedback, or if you want to share your experience as well, by all means, please do that. Okay, so the agenda that I have for today, I just want to go over the basic LMS, meaning to say that the basic Blackboard and Blackboard Collaborate Ultra that we use here at AUS. Meaning to say I'm going to go over the tools that we have and then try to explore the different use for each of them, and also try to optimize the usage as well in our classes, because there are so many different tools, but most of the time we did not try to use all of the tools that we have. Okay, so that's the first step that we're going to do. And then the second one is I'm going to go over the concept of how to plan for the course. Okay, so in terms of how to structure the course, in terms of how to choose the type of structure for the course, and then planning the flow as well. And in terms of the design strategies, so we're going to go a little bit deeper in terms of the design strategies. I'm going to show you the 3 courses that I had. So in spring 2020, where we kind of move halfway through the semester, and then in summer, because I also taught summer full online course, and also what I'm planning to do in the fall. So I'm going to share you the 3 different, you can see they are totally different in terms of the structure of the course. And I'm experimenting with the different structures. So that's why you can see they are a little bit different. And then in terms of the course content, we're going to talk later on about how to connect your design and your assessment to the CLOs. Cindy is going to be talking about that, and also about creating the rubrics. Okay. So again, at any point of time, if you have any questions, just let me know. And on Wednesday's section, we're going to go a little bit more details in terms of the design and a lot more stuff, in terms of, especially in terms of the assessment. So we're going to talk about assessment specifically on Wednesday. Okay. So in terms of Blackboard and Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, so what I want to do now is that I want to share the screen so that you're going to see the different tools that we have on Blackboard. I mean, most of you guys, almost everybody that I see on the list have used Blackboard before. And some of you might not have used Blackboard Collaborate Ultra yet. So I'm going to go over that as well. But now let's just go over Blackboard in general. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. And I'm going to stop sharing my files. So I'm going to share the screen now. And later on, you're going to see how you can do that. So I'm going to go to my Google Chrome. And now you can see I'm already logged in into my island section where all my courses are hosted. So are you guys able to see the screen that I'm sharing right now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So if you can see here, so you can see that the structure might be a little bit different from one course to another course, from one person to another person. But this is the main page that you see when you log in into Island. So you can see the courses that I have here. I have some courses in the past. I just keep it the most recent one. And I just want to show in terms of how you can actually manage this as well. I'm not really sure if you are aware that if you were to go here, you can see the setting here. You can actually choose what courses you want to show on the screen. Because I'm very, very sure that I've seen this. A lot of people just show every single thing on the main page, which is so long. I mean, I've been teaching here for 12 years. So this is really, really a very long list. So I don't really want to show everything on my main page. It's very, very messy. So you can choose what you want to show on your main page. So in my case, I chose to show only 5 of them. So it's going to be so much cleaner here in all the courses that I have. Okay, so that is one thing that you want, that you might want to think about. So I want to go to my course in the fall. Okay, so that you're going to see the different tools that we have that we can use in our courses. This is the basic Blackboard that we used to do, that we used to use to put our lectures, to put our materials, to put our syllabus, and so on. And this is the first time that I am actually customizing my home page. So you can see that my home page, this is for my MIS 201 class. I just customized that so that when people log in, when my student click on my course, they're going to see this is my course. So this is customized just for me. I mean, you can choose to do whatever that you want to do. The one thing though is that AUS somehow limit in terms of how far we can customize. By right, there's so many things that we can do to customize, but AUS want to keep the standard kind of, I guess, common for almost everybody. So that's why we cannot really do a lot of customization. But again, it's totally up to you. I just somehow this semester I thought I really want to customize that a little bit. So this is somehow the customization that I made on the banner. So the first thing that people see, you can see the banner is changed. And you can also change the look of each of the module that you have here as well. So you can see that I changed this as well. I changed the color. I changed whatever that I want to include on my home page. So you can do that as well. So just click on customize a page, and then you can do that. So if I want to customize the page, I can just choose whatever frame that I want to use, okay? But it is, again, very limited. You cannot do your own. AUS just use whatever basic template that is already there. Okay, I think I have a comment or something over here. Just let me just go back and see. Okay, oh, thank you. Thanks, Raja, and welcome, Joanna. Okay, so this is the basic thing that you can do, obviously. If you have one thing that I really like is the to-do here. If you have any deadlines or any due dates for student, it will pop up over here as well, okay? Because this is still very new, so I have nothing. There is no deadline for my student. Otherwise, it will pop up over here, which is kind of nice. When the students first log in, they know exactly what is due. And the announcement is also here. So when they log in, they can also see the announcement. So they know exactly how to keep up with the course itself. Okay, what else do I have here? I will go details in terms of communication, in terms of announcement, and how to create and organize the content. But now I just want to show the different tools that we have over here. So now you can see that I am currently in the edit mode, meaning to say that I can edit anything that I have over here on the left. So let's say, for example, if I want to change, I'm sorry. So if I want to change, let me just go back. So if I want to change here about this course, if I want to put something else, okay? So I can just change that. If let's say I want to put welcome instead of about this course, I can just put welcome if I want to. Sorry. And then it will just change that. But you have to make sure that you are in the edit mode, okay? Then you can do that. If you want to see exactly how everything after you make the changes, because AUS has already made some default, whatever that you have over here, okay? Some default content, some default names. but you can choose to show whatever that you want to show to the students. So let's say, for example, these are all available for every single person at AUS, but I choose not to show video penapto because I do not use it. So I just hide that. And I actually deleted quite a few other links that I never use. So I do not want the student to see so many links that we do not use. So if you want to see exactly how the student is going to see this, you can go up here, look at the eye here, the eye symbol on that. So now you are entering the student mode. So any single changes that you make, you can always click on view the student mode. Then you can see exactly how it's going to look like from the student's perspective. Okay. So if you were to look at here, this is very, very clean. So when students come to my homepage, they only see very few links available on the left. So they're not going to be that much confused, because sometimes people can get so overwhelmed when you have a lot of different links. So this is very, very clean in a sense. If you want to clean up even more, do whatever that you want to do. Okay, but make sure that you have all the important links over there. Okay, now I want to go back to my own view. So if you want to go here, you can see that if you want to look at some of the tools that we have a lot of different tools. Not really sure how many tools have you used so far. I've used quite a lot of the tools that we have here. So let's say blogs. From time to time in my classes, I ask my students to use the blog within Island itself. So that is something that I use. Attendance, now we have to use attendance. What else? The discussion board, I use that quite a lot as well. The rubric, see, this is going to talk about rubric later on. Lockdown browser. For assessment, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Safe assign, we're going to talk about that as well later. I mean, the tests and surveys, how to create the tests, how to create surveys and exams, that is also going to be on Wednesday. Wikis, this is another one that I use quite a lot in my class, especially for group work. So you can create a group. So if you were to go here to users and group, you know that you can create groups for your student. Once they have the group, you can actually assign them a wiki. So they can use wiki to collaborate with one another. So wiki works exactly like Google Doc. So they can keep track of the changes. They can keep track in terms of who made what, who posted what, and so on. So this is kind of cool because everything is within Island. And the one fact that I like about using wiki within Island is that we, as the instructor, we can have access and see exactly what's going on. So in terms of group work, this is wonderful because you can see who contribute and who is not doing anything. Okay, so these are some of the tools that you should try. If you haven't yet tried, you should definitely try something like this. So this is some of the tools that I think that I want to share with you right now. So unless you have specific question, and then I can skip to the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra and look at some of the tools. And later on, when we talk about the design and the planning, I will go deeper into each of the tools that I have used before. How did you do your banner? Okay, so Raja has a question here. So for the banner, you have to go to home page, and then you can click on the page banner, and then you just attach whatever design that you make. So you can make your own design, and then you can just attach, because this is kind of pretty cool because Island allow you to attach any types of image, JPEG, PNG, and so on. Even some text, anything, PDF. You can do a lot of things here, even movie if you want to attach a movie, but you don't want to attach a clip, I guess, a movie clip on the banner, but pictures, images cannot work. Even if you just want to put a welcoming message, it works as well. You just click over here on the home page. If you want to change the welcoming message here, you can also do that. You click edit, and then you can just change whatever that you want to change as well. Okay. So that is how you change the home page. Okay. Any other question? Anybody have anything else that you want to share in terms of how you manage your home page and the different kind of tools that you use in your classes that you enjoy a lot in terms of Blackboard, the basic of the Blackboard. Okay, if not, I'm going to show you Blackboard Collaborate itself, okay, in terms of how to go to Blackboard Collaborate. So here is already here, so you can just click on Blackboard Collaborate, and then it's going to take me to Blackboard Collaborate. Okay, so I do not have any session, obviously, but you can easily create a session. For those of you who have yet to create a session, why don't we create a session? If you never use anything, so why don't we try to do that? Test 1. Okay, I'm just going to do that. And when you create this new session, you can also do some setting. You can check the setting, whatever that you want to do in terms of the recording. Usually, I do not allow the recording to be downloaded. I just keep it there. But the one thing that you have to know about recording is that it will only be kept for 30 days. So after that, the recording will just be deleted. So it is safe if you were to download the recording and save that in case people need to go back and look at that again. But it's totally up to you. If you are comfortable, you can always allow your student to download the recording. I'm just not very comfortable with my students downloading my presentation in the class, my lecture, so that is why I didn't allow that, but it's totally up to you. The most basic setting for guests when they log in, you can control over here as well. You can allow them to share the audio, share the video, and do whatever that they want to do. Private chat, draw on the whiteboard and files. We're going to talk about whiteboard and files later on. So there are so many things that you can control from the setting here. Okay, and this is the attendance. Always, if you want to make sure that you keep track of people, of the student who log in and who log out at a certain time, or who log in a little bit later, you want to come here and do some of the setting here. Okay, so if you, it's totally up to you in terms of the policy. If you think that 5 minutes late is late, and then you can just put it over there. And then if somebody log in 20 minutes after, that can be counted as absent. So it's totally up to you, whatever that you want to change here. And then if you want Blackboard Collaborate Ultra to share the attendance and all the details with you, you want to make sure that you click here, share the attendance information, which is kind of cool because you can see the percentage. So you kind of know exactly what time does a particular person log in. So it's easier for you when you want to give participation grade, let's say, later. Okay, so when I go here, this is one thing that I did in the beginning, especially if you're not very, very comfortable with using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. So what you can do, you can click on the guest link. Once you click on the guest link, you can say, or you can create or save. And then you're going to see here, now you have a link. So this link can be used, I mean, you can share this link with anybody, with the student, with a guest speaker. If you have a guest speaker that's coming in that are not part of AUS, you can easily just give the link, a guest link, then they can come in at any time. If students are registered in your course, they do not have, they do not need the link to log into the class. But the one thing that you can do for yourself while preparing your lecture is take this link. Okay, copy this link, and then what you can do is that you can use that link and open a new browser. Okay, so now you have your own link. Okay, let's say I go now inside this session. I am inside this session, okay? But if I want to see what I'm doing here from the perspective of a student, what I can do, I can log in using the link, the guest link earlier on a different browser, or on the different tab. Or if you have an external, another monitor that you connect to your main computer, you can also use that so you can monitor all the activities that you are doing using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. So if you do that, it's kind of easier. Instead of asking somebody else, instead of asking a colleague to see what you're doing, you can just see for yourself. Okay, so there is one thing for you to practice how to use Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Does it make sense? Does anybody have question about that? Today is kind of cool. I found it cool. I mean, in the beginning, I remember when we were forced in spring to move online, we, the MIS faculty, we get together and we start looking at our design, and then we start testing our lectures and so on. But if we can do it ourselves at home, why not? You know, try that using the guest link, and then just try that. And definitely, if this is the first time that you're using this, it's definitely going to help you. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. So I'm going to show you what you can do while you are inside Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Okay, so the first thing that you see over here is you as the attendants, or the attendees, so you can change the status. So if you click here, you can just easily change whatever status. If you're happy, if you're sad, tell this to your student. Sometimes it's good to have the reaction from them. If they do not want to use the emoticon, they can also do this. If they're kind of confused throughout the class, so they can change the status of the profile as well. And this is the microphone. I mean, you're used to this. And this is the video, the camera. And then this is where people just raise up their hand if you have any question. So this is this part that you need to know. Another part that you need to know is the other side of the screen here. So this is the chat box. I mean, I guess this is the one thing that student knows a lot, to use the emoticon and do whatever that they want to do, which is kind of nice when you ask for participation from student. Every single thing that is happening on the chat box, if you record your session, it will also be recorded. And I like to use that. So when I go back, when I review the participation, when I want to assign participation grade to my student, I look at that. So I can see who are active, who are not. Okay. In addition to the recording itself, you can also see the chat that they actually make on the chat box. So that is the chat. And we also have here the next one, the people. If you see the figure, you can see that is the attendees. So you can see the students that are in, the students that did not show up. And you can change the control of the participant if you want them to be, I mean, it's kind of difficult here. Okay, because I do not have that. I do not have more people here. If not, I can just try to mute the microphone. I can change the role of the participant and so on. And this is the important one that I guess, especially for the new faculty, that you need to know. Hang on, are you guys seeing that or no? Okay, I'm just making sure.
I think it's frozen, Narita.
It's frozen. Okay,
I did log out and log back in, and it's still frozen.
Okay, let me just see. My screen is froze or the other one is froze? Oh, the other screen is froze. Okay, let me just log out and log back in. Yes, that's why we have to do that, log out and log back in. Okay, let me just, oops. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, let's join back in. Okay, I think I have to share the screen again. Just bear with me. I'm using external cameras, so that is why you can see that. I have to look up over there that you can see me very, very clearly. Yeah, you can easily, while waiting, you can easily just connect your external cameras, your external video cam, or whatever it is that you want to use that going to make the whole experience better. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing again. So we're going to go to the test. Okay, now it's back in, I suppose. Okay, now it's back in. So now we want to see the right-hand side at the bottom. Okay, this part. So this is the attendees. This is the most important part, I suppose, when we teach online, there are many different things that we can do. So obviously sharing the files. So we can easily just the file by clicking share files. So we can share PowerPoint, PDF. What else? I guess I do not think that we can images, yes, but we cannot. I do not think that we can share Word. It doesn't work. So let's say if I want to share something, let me just go back and try to share. Let's say, okay, I'm sharing a file right now. This is for the new faculty orientation. So I'm trying to share that. It's taking a while, so let's see if you can see that. Okay, so this is how you share a file. And then we can go back if I don't want to share the file. If I want to share, let's say, a screen, you just go to share application, and you can choose to share the application windows, or you can choose to share another tab. This is if, let's say, you want to play a YouTube video, so you can go to the Chrome tab, click share audio, and then you can just share specific thing that you want to share. Okay, share the whiteboard or the blank whiteboard. This is kind of neat, especially if you do a lot of writings, or I'm not talking about English kind of writing. If in your lecture, if you want to type something, if you do a lot of math, you can easily attach your external stylus or Padlet to the whiteboard, and then you can just use that to write. Okay, if not, you can use the basic tools that they have over here. So let's say now I just want to type something. So I just want to type hello. Now, if I want to increase, it's not very convenient, because if I want to increase the size of that font, then I have to go to select and go back to this, and then I can just easily change the sizes. If I want to change the color, and then I go here, and then I can change the color. So let's say now I want to change the color. I want to draw a box, then I can do that. So these are some of the basic stuff. Earlier in spring 2020, Blackboard did not allow for individual delete. Okay, so we cannot erase anything on the whiteboard. You have to erase everything. But now we can do that. So let's say if I'm just going to draw one more. So let's say now I want to draw this, and I don't really like this shape. So what I can do, I can go here to select. I can choose the specific thing that I want to delete. Now I can just press delete, then it's gone. Okay, and soon what's going to happen is that we will be able to save whatever on the whiteboard as well. As of now, we are not allowed to save. So let's say if you bring up a file that you shared. Okay, I'm going to go back to the file that I shared. I'm going to show you something. So let's say here, so we have, you see just what happened. Everything on the whiteboard just disappeared. We cannot save that. But now they are in the process of changing that. So in the future, hopefully in the next month, we will be able to save everything that we actually draw on the whiteboard. So that is new feature that's going to happen. Okay, what else can we do here? So let's go back here. Another new thing that they also added is the shared camera. So what happened, I mean, if you are in the lecture, usually people can't really see your face. Students can't really see your face. Somehow it is just hidden, or it is just very, very small at the bottom. So you can't really see that. Or even when you record the session, your face not going to be there. So what you can do when you go here, what you can do, you can click on share camera. I have so many different types because I'm using the external. So you can do that. If you want to link to an external devices, you can do that. Or if you just want to show the particular, the one that you're using, and then you can do that as well. So I'm sharing my camera right now. So you can see my face, and yeah. So now whatever I want to share, I can just share that. So that's the new feature that they added recently on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. They took away the timer though. Okay, Another thing that we can do is the poll, because from time to time, especially if we talk so much, nobody's going to listen. So we can just quickly just do a quick poll. I can just send it out, and then people can just participate. So yeah, so that's exactly what you can do. You can stop. You can log the poll if time is up. You can stop, and then you can share the result and so on. And another thing that I like to do a lot in my class to make sure that students are always going to be engaged is the use of the breakout groups. This is the small groups that you can use. Again, I can't really do it here because when I log in here, there is only me. So there are a few things that you can do over here. So when you want to assign the groups, you can custom assign, meaning to say that students are going to be randomly assigned to a group. So you specify the number of members that you want in the group, the number of groups that you want to have, and then everything is just going to be automatically assigned, which is very, very quick. I like to do this because it's very quick. But if you want the students to choose their own groups, or if you want to assign the group yourself, then you have to do that manually. Or a quick way to do that is to allow attendees to switch group. I do this because it's quick. So even though it is a custom or random assignment, they're going to be randomly grouped, but they can switch the group to whatever group members that they want. So you can also do this. So it's very quick. Okay, so once you are ready, you can click start, and then they're gonna go to a separate private room, and then you can join them from one group to another group. So we can always have a group discussion, just like what we have in real life discussion. Okay, so let me see. I think people have in here. What is Istra saying? Will share camera show you and the file you are sharing at the same size as the others? Not necessarily, no. The share camera will share your screen, I mean, the camera itself. So that's going to be the main one that they're going to share. Okay, everything else is going to be smaller. So if you want to get people's attention, then you can do that. And Cindy said that one thing to know about breakout group is that you cannot assign them early. Yes, you cannot do that. You cannot assign them early. So you have to do that at that particular moment. So it's going to take time a little bit when you do that. So that's why, like I said, allow the student to change the group. That is going to be faster. You randomly assign them and then let them change the group. Okay? That's going to be so much faster. Okay, I'm just going to see what else do we do here. I guess pretty much it that you can do inside Blackboard Collaborate. But from time to time, if you want to use any other application, from outside, let's say you want to use Kahoot, Sapo, Mentimeter, anything else that you want to kind of link to the use here on Blackboard Alpha, you can definitely do that. More than welcome to try that on your own, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to stop this recording for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra unless you have some specific question that you want me to cover. Or if anybody else have anything that you want to share as well, please feel free to do that. Okay, so let's go to the
Norita, if you don't mind, I would like just to share with, I will share with you one website. So there is one device. Maybe do you hear me, please, all of you?
Yes. Yes, okay. Wacom. Yes, I use Wacom too. Yes.
Okay. If you can elaborate on this, especially for our colleagues in CAD or faculty who teach, for instance, physics or other disciplines.
That's okay. Nice. If you want to, I mean, I do not have Wacom right with me right now, but if you want to connect, it's just like connecting. Okay. I'm just going to take my Wacom to show. Okay. So this is, just one second. Okay. So I'm just going to, can you guys see me or no? Okay. I guess the quality is a little bit.
Yes, we can.
It's not?
I can see you.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, good. Okay, so I just want to show you, this is Wacom. So this is an external pen tablet that you can use to draw. So you can connect this to your computer just like you're connecting to your computer like normal. Okay, there's nothing additional that you need to do other than setting up to make sure that your computer can detect this external device. Once it is connected, you can just use the pen. I mean, the pen that comes together with this to just, when you use the blackboard or the whiteboard that I showed you earlier, you can just straight away, you know, if you're used to doing the welcome, then it's easier because it's just like writing on a piece of paper. Okay, so you can do signatures and all that. So that is one thing that you can do. I mean, I use this, especially when I do a lot of drawings, I use this. And also another thing that you can do if you have iPads or any other tablet is the same thing. You can just connect like you usually connect. But one thing with iPad though, you have to know the different versions of iPad that you're using. Not all of them, the old iPad definitely cannot connect. But the newer iPad, yes, you can definitely do, you can definitely connect with Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Usually what I do is that I use the OneNote, the application. So meaning to say that you open up the OneNote on your computer and also you open up the OneNote on your iPad, and then you can just share the application. So whatever that you do on your iPad will be reflected, will be shared on the screen. Okay, so that is one thing that you can do in terms of connecting X device to Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. If you need specific instruction on how to do that, please let me know. I mean, I can definitely do one-on-one consultation with you as well if you need to do the setup. But other than that, it is not very difficult actually. The IT also have a good instructions on how to do that. So it's really in terms of how you configure your computer to make sure that it can connect to your iPad or to your tablet or your external devices. Okay. Okay, let me just see the question here. Yeah, Muhammad have the link. Yes, you can definitely go to the link and you can get all other additional information about how to use Wacom as well. But yes, that is a wonderful thing, especially you do a lot of writings in terms of formulas. If you want to explain, then use that. It's a different variety with different tools that you can use. Another thing that I also do, just very quickly, I'm just gonna walk and then come back, like 1 second. Okay, this is one of the best tools that I have. I use this whiteboard as well. Okay, if you see this, so yeah, definitely I need to change the angle of my computer. I mean my camera a little bit, but I use this from time to time. So I change the different method or tools that I use because just to make sure that students are not bored. Because sometimes I use the regular whiteboard, but I use this whiteboard because it's easiest from time to time. It is easier when you want to go back. Or if you have the flip chart, do that as well because that's definitely going to help because sometimes students just need to see that, you know, we do whatever it is the way that we do in the traditional classroom. Okay. Any other question? Anybody else have anything that you want to add? Okay, if not, let's go to the next, hang on, the next topic I want to talk about here. Okay, let's go to our agenda again. So this is a little bit slow. Somehow the computer is not responding. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Let's go back to the agenda. So the next one I want to talk about very quickly. So we talk about this in terms of planning your class structure, the flow of the material that you have. Okay, so choosing a structure, you can easily just structure the content of your material by week, meaning to say that weekly, or by content, like what we always have before, or by specific subject. So I'm going to bring you back to my class. Okay, I'm going to bring you back to iLearn, my original class earlier. I just want to show you exactly what I have done in all the 3 different semesters. Okay, let's see if you can. Okay, let's go back. I'm just gonna quit this. Okay, go back to island. Okay, so now I'm back to the main page. So I want to show you my class, the way that I structure my course in spring 2020. So let's go to MIS 201 in spring 2020. And then you can see again on the left hand side here, you can see it is so many links. We have many different links compared to the one that I showed you earlier. Okay. There is one thing. Now, if I were to go to lecture notes, this is where I structure my materials for the spring 2020 course. So I structured by the content. So I have the lecture in one folder. I have case studies in another folder. I have videos in the different folders, class activities, and so on. And if I were to go to assignment, I can see all the different assignments that I created for this particular course. And quizzes and exam, same thing. I have all of them. So you can see the many different links that I have over here. So I structure my course based on the content. Okay. Now let's go to my course in summer. So I taught management decision analysis and MBA course in the summer, and I changed the structure of my course significantly. So now you can see here, I have less links. So if you were to see here, assessment, video, penapto, all of this is not available for the students. So I disable them. I'm not sharing this link with the student. So student, if I were to go here, we can see students see a much simpler link compared to before. So they see the syllabus and getting started, they see the content. That's all they see, and the rest is just the basic standard items that have already been designed for us. So now if I were to go to syllabus and getting started, so we have the syllabus. I also have an introductory video that I use to introduce myself prior to the class. I will show an example of this video later on. Now if I were to go to content, you can see now I'm structuring my course not based on the content, but based on the week. Because for summer semester, we only have 6 weeks. So it makes more sense if I were to arrange and manage my content based on week. So everything is just weekly. So from week 1 all the way to week 6, and then I have final exam at the end. Okay. And now if I were to go into, let's say, week number 2, and you can see how I put all the different items and materials needed for that particular week. So students knows exactly what they need to do for week number 2, because everything that is related to week number 2 are here, including homework, exercises, exam, if they were to have any, everything are here. So they do not have to guess. Everything is based on the week. Okay, so if I were to go back, again, I can see that. So it is so much more consistent for the student. But this is easier because we only have 6 weeks. But I was thinking about what am I supposed to do for my fall semester. So as you've seen, for my fall semester, I've decided to go with, if I were to go to the content here, I've decided to go with the chapters, because I do not want to go with weeks, because usually I do not have enough time to cover whatever that I put in my syllabus within that particular week, usually. So I want to make sure that students are not going to be confused. So because of that, I'm going to structure my course, my material based on the chapters. So if they were to go to chapter 0 and 1, they get everything that is needed for that particular chapter. Okay, I have yet to include all the materials in there. So, but this is my plan for spring semester. I will organize all of them based on the chapters. So basically, if you were to see in terms of the different structure that we can use, I am using, or have already used all of them so far, okay, including what I'm going to be using in the fall semester. So I've used chronologically That's what I did in the summer. By content, this is what we did in spring, and then by specific subject later on, that's what I'm going to be using in the fall. Okay, any questions so far about choosing or structuring your course? Whatever that you choose, whatever that you feel makes sense, please just stay with that, because the whole idea, the feedback that I received based on my spring 2020 class was, it was a little bit complex, and students found it a little bit difficult to find the material when I use by content, because like I said, it's kind of everywhere. There's so many links that they have to find. So instead of clicking 3 times, they have to click maybe 12 times to find a specific thing that they're looking for. So try to simplify whatever structure that you have. So yeah, like I said, planning with the flow, you have the structure, and then for each of the folder, put everything systematically, okay, and be consistent. Design strategy. So in terms of usability, like I said, be predictable. So students do not have to guess. You not want them to guess, especially when it comes to online. You do not want them to guess. You want to make sure that it is very, very easy for them to find specific thing that they're looking for. In terms of writing, try to be as concise as possible. Again, try to be consistent in terms of the language that you use, and make it very, very clear. You do not want students, again, to read a very long message, but at the end, they're still lost, do not know exactly what they have to do. So that is why it's good to have a virtual help session or a virtual office hours, so that you can easily just clarify some of the questions that they face. The homepage, like I said, try to make it a little bit cleaner, so that it's easier for students to navigate through the entire course. Okay, in terms of designing a course, I am a little bit, how do I say this? I'm not very, I'm pretty organized in a sense, but not as organized as I want to be. So what I usually do is that I have a planning document. So I use this planning document to plan my course week by week. I can share the document, my planning document with you. This is what I had for the summer semester, and I can share the one that I'm going to have for the fall semester as well. So I have week by week. It's structured in terms of what exactly am I going to cover, what chapters, what are the additional materials that I'm going to be using, what kind of activities I'm going to be doing as well. So if you are interested to see my planning document, let me know, okay? Because I'm looking at the time, so I do not really want to use all the time just to share my planning document. But if you are interested, let me know. I can share with you the planning document week by week. And then another thing that you want to make sure that you have is the syllabus. Course syllabus is very important. I also make sure, you've seen just now, I have the introductory video that I use to introduce myself and to welcome my students. I have the icebreakers activities as well, and the other common activities that we usually do. So if we were to go back, okay, to one of the courses, so let's just go back to, I just want to show you how I created the video. There's the welcoming video, and also very, very quickly, I just want to show you what I did with the announcement as well. So you can see the different things that you can do in your class. This is something that is, just giving you some ideas. So if I were to go back to the welcome, so this is where students for this coming fall, they can see the course syllabus is already up there. They can see my introductory video as well. So I'm just going to play very, very quickly. And the reason I shot this video is because I want to kind of share the welcoming environment. I also want to showcase our building AUS campus as well. So let me just show you this video very quickly. Hello, my name is Dr. Narita Ahmad, and you're watching this video because you are registered in my MIS 201 course this fall semester. I would really love to see all of you face to face, but that's not going to happen. So I would really, really appreciate if you could just send me a video of yourself, introduce yourself to me. I would still want to have the same amount of fun and the same amount of learning. So I look forward to seeing you. In the meantime, take care and stay safe. Bye. So this is a video, the welcoming video. Another thing that I also did, let me go back here, is, let me just go back here one more second. Okay, so, okay, let me just go here. Another thing that I said earlier that you should try to do is try to create some icebreaker activities as well. So you can use the discussion board for that, or you can just use a video again to just invite students to introduce themselves so that they can get to know one another. Okay, what else? I'm not sure if it's a very good video, but yeah, that is something at least for the students to see. Okay, so let me just, I think that is what I have in terms of sharing some of the stuff. Let me just go over the next one. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Another thing that from time to time, like I said, the most important thing for the student is that they're not going to have the opportunity to see you face to face. So try as much as you could, try to to make them feel welcome and to make them feel that they know who you are. I mean, based on my experience, if they know that you care, they know who you are, they are more interested to learn. And if you show that you are also interested in them, again, they would pay more attention in the class. They would feel more happy to come to your class as well. So from time to time, I just, share some little stuff with them so that they know my hobbies. They know what I like to do. They know my favorite movies, let's say, for example. So we talk about personal stuff as well from time to time, just, to make sure that they know that you care about them. Okay, so mapping the course learning outcomes. So this is the last topic that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to hand it over to Cindy. Let me see. Cindy, do you have the ability to present? Okay. Yes.
All right. Thank you. So there are, if you will, 3 steps to getting your course learning outcome to your different assessments. And the first step is actually outside of the iLearn. And so the first step is to contact Waleed. And if you don't know Waleed, E-L-D-I-N.
Do you want to share your screen, Cindy?
This is his email.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is Waleed's email. And you can contact him directly. And he will, I'm sharing my screen. Waleed will get your course learning outcomes entered into iLearn. And in iLearn, they are actually called, what are they called? They're called assessments, is that right? They're called alignments. Alignments, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so once Waleed gets your CLOs into iLearn, and he will need an official document, you'll have to send over your syllabus to him. Once those are in, then you can start to add your alignments to any assignment that you have. So this is a course from the spring, and I have clicked on assignments, and these are all of the various assignments. And so for this very first assignment that my students do, it does map to one of my CLOs. And so here I can quickly add alignments, and you'll see the pop-up screen, and you can, if you go down to goal set, you'll see all the different courses here. And so I will just find my course and then I'll have to scroll back up to find the 4 CLOs for my course. And for this particular assignment, it's this CLO. And so that's all I have to do. And now that CLO is attached to that assignment. And as Narita was showing earlier, we can look at the student view, and the students do actually see that the CLO is attached to the assignment. Now, for this one, because the entire assignment is attached to a CLO, it makes it really easy to figure out how well the students achieved that particular course learning outcome. So I can just go over here to the assignment. I'm in my grade center and look at column statistics, and this shows me the average. And no surprise, that's a high average. It's simply logging into the system. I would hope that that CLO would be a high average, but this does show me how well the students achieved that CLO. So really, really easy to measure in that sense. And then Narita, can you tell me if there are questions coming up? Because I've navigated off of the chat.
Okay. Yeah, Raja couldn't see that a while ago, but now she's good.
Okay, thank you. And then the other way that I think is pretty common is if you have created an exam or a quiz or something of that sort, an assignment, you can attach a CLO to a particular question. So in this case, I'm going to open up an exam that I had. And in my first question here, it's an essay question, you can see that I have, again, attached a CLO to this particular question on an exam. And so it's the same way of attaching it again for the drop down here for the question on the exam. I can add an alignment and again go through the process of finding my course and picking the specific alignment. I'll cancel out of that. I don't want to mess up my exam. And so again, an alignment that is attached to a specific question on an exam. Super easy to attach it. Now, how do I figure out how well the students obtained this, how well they achieved this course learning outcome? And this one is going to be a slightly different. So I go back to my grading center, and where's my exam? Right here. And now I'm going to use a function called item analysis. Okay, item analysis. And this is, again, in my grade center. I've clicked on the gray arrow by the exam, item analysis. And you'll need to run the analysis the very first time, but I've already done that. And so now I can click on the exam. And there is a lot of great information here. I would very much encourage you to use this. But for our specific purpose right now, here is the question that I had, financial reporting. And I want to see how my students did. And actually, the average grade for that question was only 66%, which tells me that that CLO was not achieved. In the business school, we measure, I guess, if you will, effective or achievement of CLOs at 70%. So this tells me that the students did not achieve this CLO, and I would need to ask another question on a different exam, review it, or something of that sort, change it either this semester or definitely next semester. But again, a very quick way to see how well students achieved a CLO as it's attached to a specific question on an assignment or on an exam. Okay, that was really fast, but I want to honor people's time as well. So are there any questions around how to do that? All right.
No questions so far.
Okay, I did put together a small video that walks through all of those steps again, and I've made that available to Narita. I don't remember exactly where you were going to post that. If you want to look at this again, on the semester, it's there.
Yeah, I will share that with everybody. I'm going to post that on the YouTube channel for FDC and also on the island community page.
All right. Well, Narita, back to you.
Oh, okay. I thought you want to do the rubric as well.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can do rubrics. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, so I've got all kinds of rubrics. Over here under course tools, you can create rubrics. And these are all of the different, I've got pages and pages. You can see 4 pages of rubrics. I use rubrics quite extensively. We have some within SBA that we use for, we use across SBA. And so here are these examples. This is an example of one of them here. So you can create whatever criteria you want along the left-hand side over here. And then across the top, the different levels of achievement. And let me edit this so that you can see the, let me copy it and now edit it. And there are numerous different ways to set up your rubrics. I like to use percentages, so 50%, 80%, 100%. You can use points or no points. You can use ranges. I will say I'm not a fan of ranges because it requires a little bit more work on your part whenever you are using the rubric to grade. It requires some actual entering of the numbers, which some people like. I prefer just to be able to have a single percent, and then whenever I'm going through and grading, I can just click what the student got. And if I want to manually change it, I can, but I'm not forced to manually enter every time. So again,
can I interrupt a little bit? One of the questions that I received quite a lot in the spring about rubric is in terms of the percentages. How do you assign the percentages? Because it's a little bit tricky on Island. Sometimes it's not going to allow you to continue until you get the right percentage.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Great question. It is a little tricky. Yeah. So I typically, oh gosh, it kind of depends. It depends on the different types of assignments. And so I think really what you're talking about here, Norita, is this criteria weight. And so in this one, for example, yes, everything is weighted equally. For me, sometimes it depends on the assignment. I have a project, for example, that students turn in multiple times throughout the semester. And so as the semester goes on, those weightings very much change, and the new material gets a much higher weighting than the material that they had previously turned into me. Most of the time, I use the criteria weight quite equally. Yeah, it can be challenging. One of the other things that I do whenever I create my rubrics that I think helps me in grading is, in this particular case, I only have 3 levels of achievement. Sometimes I have 4. But what I usually do, so over here on Exceeds Expectations, I tell my students, this means that you knocked it out of the park, okay? Exceeds Expectations means that you absolutely positively aced this question. And there are typically maybe 1, 2 exceeds expectations in the class. And the students understand that there are really usually 1, maybe 2 really, really, really good answers. And then on the other end, I get a do not meet expectations. And so if the students tried, oftentimes I'll give them half credit. If they didn't try, sometimes I'll even add a column here where they get no credit at all. And then I have a really, really broad range of meets expectations. And this makes my grading go a lot faster. I think it also makes the grading much more consistent. When you use the rubric to grade, you do have a field for feedback, and that's where I often write some specific feedback for students. But students, I usually tell them the way that I grade for meets expectations is if you give back to me exactly what I told you in class, that's meets expectations. If you're not adding anything of your own, if you're not synthesizing the material or anything of that sort, They just get this kind of this middle column, if you will. And for me, it makes the grading go a whole lot faster. So that's just something to think about. So attaching a rubric to an assignment is very, very easy. And I'll go back over here into my assignments, and I can edit the assignment here. Oh, that one doesn't. Oh, wait, I'm in student view. No, I'm not. That one doesn't have a rubric. Let me go back here to cases and exams. So I actually put a rubric for each test question. And so this is back to that test that I used where I had assigned the CLO. And you can also see up here, this little colorful icon tells me that there's been a rubric assigned to this as well. So if I edit this test question, I've got the question there, and then down here, rubrics, and you can, I can select a rubric that I've used before. I can create a new rubric. Often I create from existing, so I copy one and then add a new one. And you have the ability to show the rubrics to the student. They can see the potential scores, or they can only see the rubric after grading. I typically don't show them the rubric during the exam, because if they see the rubric during the exam, sometimes it has the answers in it. And so, so be careful about showing the rubric to the students during the exam. Again, you might be giving away some of your answers. And then you can just see the simplicity of the rubric. So this is the rubric that goes to that particular question. And if this, for example, this is kind of that meets expectation that I was talking about. If the student identifies the 3 reports and some of the modules that contribute to the reports, they get a meets expectation. All of the reports, all of the modules, they get exceed. And then whenever it comes to grading, all I have to do is go through and literally just click on one of those squares, and it will calculate the grade for me. If I want to override the grade, if I want to give them a 7 instead of, or 70% instead of 85%, I can do that. But I can also just click on the square of the rubric, and it will automatically assign the grade. So it goes quite quickly. It also makes it a little bit easier if I have a TA helping me grade. I think it provides some consistency between the way that I grade and the TA grades. So I do find rubrics to be useful in that sense as well. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to go really fast and honor people's time. So are there any specific questions? Okay. Narita, any other way that you use rubrics that I didn't mention?
I mean, basically, I mean, you use quite a lot more than I did actually. I did not use rubric for my final exam, for example, but I use a lot of rubric for my class activities. Usually, what I use rubric for is something that is more subjective, I suppose, because you want to make sure that it is going to be so much easier for students to understand how you grade their work. So anything that is very subjective, I use rubric. Anything that is very specific, calculative, so I do not use rubric for that. Even for the discussion board, I actually use rubric to grade my students' participation on the discussion board. So they know exactly what they're supposed to do, even when they do the discussion. So yeah, I think that that's more kind of clear cut for the students. So I'm not going to give them any room at the end to negotiate for grades because, things are not very clear. I'm not really sure anybody else use rubric in other ways.
Yeah, I'll add to what you just said. I found that once I started using rubrics, the negotiation for students dropped off dramatically.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, and also I guess for SBA, we have a standard rubric as well, especially for writing. So we have something that we use across SBA, so students kind of know exactly, the rubric that we use. For critical thinking, we have that as well. For, I guess, for oral, for presentation, we have that as well. So this is It's a lot easier. And also, once you have the rubric, you can easily just copy and move from one course to another course as well. So that's going to make it so much simpler. So you have to invest your time in the beginning, and then after that, you can just copy your rubric. Then just keep using that.
Yes, and they're super easy to import and export. So if
Yeah.
anybody wants rubrics or wants something to start with so that you're not starting from a blank page, let me know, and I'll be happy to share these that we use across SBA or anything like that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good idea, Cindy. I think that's gonna help a lot of people because I remember when I first started to use rubric online, it's a little bit complex. Isra is asking about the recording. Yes, the recorded section. I mean, the recorded lecture. I will share that. I will upload that on YouTube, and I will also put that on the FDC community page on Ireland. I will send you the link, or even the link. You can find the link on the newsletter as well. So yeah, you can get it over there. So, but the one thing, if you want to go to the FDC YouTube channel, you have to type the whole word. FDC, Faculty Development Center, American University of Sharjah. Then you get to the page. Otherwise, when you do the search, it's not very popular, so we're not gonna come up on the first page. Okay, any other question that you have, the basic thing that you need help with? Because on Wednesday, we're going to talk a little bit more about assessment and how to create tests and polls and to use responders. So any other thing that you want to know about the basics of using the LMS that we could maybe help you with? Okay, if there is no further question, I'm just going to stop the recording.